back in the saddle. Let's go. So we are going to stop momentarily again because we have another example of a telegraph pole with the sign on it. Oh my god, that wind is strong and cold. Jeez, can't win. There's another telegraph pole there. So they come in clumps, right? You'll get these clumps of telegraph poles and then you won't see any for a while and then you get another clump. Again, not sure why. Goofy day today. Again, I've got 2 layers on and I'm sweating. So when the wind blows, I'm actually kind of a little cold, right? Because I'm kind of wet a little bit from perspiring. But I know if I take a layer off, I'm going to freeze. So just, again, it's not snowing, it's not raining. It's actually a little bit cloudy, which is good. Last weekend it was so bright and sunny. The videos turned out okay, but obviously they turn out much better with some cloud. Yeah, because I remember this sort of dried up, sort of swampy area here. It's been very, very dry. This last couple of weeks, it's kind of, we've had some spotty showers here and there, but it's been very dry, and so you're going to see that. So here's my marker. So we're going to go check out that telegraph pole that has a sign on it. So we've worked our way off the grade, just a chance sighting. I was rolling by and I saw the telegraph pole down and I thought I saw a piece of plywood on the pole itself. So what we have is one of our rare car markers. I think that says 80. That's what it looks like to me. That looks like an 8 to me. So 80 cars out of the siding here at Reba. So we'll jump back on the bike here, and I don't know if we'll see any more. Okay, so we are 80 car lengths from Reba. Every time I think of Reba, it makes me think of the singer. Not that I'm a country fan, but it's got a very distinctive personality. Always make me think of the movie Tremors, you know, with the big worms under the ground. Hopefully the dog's enjoying herself. Very interesting drive in this morning. So again, Silver Dollar's 5 minutes from the railway grade, but I had to basically drive in 16 miles in the dark. And like I said, I've only been down this road once. There's a telegraph pole right in there, hiding. And especially crossing Eva Lake in the dark was not particularly fun. Lots of white knuckling. Things are going much faster going this way, obviously. Not having to stop all the time and take pictures and check things out, unless something of interest pops up. Got some more telegraph poles here. I didn't see any more signage on them. We do have an interesting little story with a sign from the other side of Reba, which I will talk about later. So I can't remember, I want to say the signs for the car lengths are about 150 meters apart. No, maybe 150 feet apart. I don't know. That number sticks in my head. 152 meters or 152 feet, I can't remember. So here you can see another pole. So here we have a little rock cut. I pre-recorded this, but well, it's cloudy, so we can just roll with this version. So you can see here, the cut isn't particularly high, maybe about 7 or 8 feet here. It kind of gets a little bit taller here in the middle. Maybe we're pushing 10 feet, maybe 12 up here. Not a lot of rock work in this section here, simply because we're kind of going to be coming alongside the English River, which is a huge river in the area. And again, so you're kind of in that river plain and you're not going to get a lot of rock work. So you're going to see a couple of these. You're going to see where we're going to cross some lakes on causeways. So this is Ted Lake. I don't know who names these things. You're going to see a really interesting one coming up later on. So this is Ted Lake, maybe named after some guy named Ted. And so again, you can see the causeway kind of cuts right through the lake. It's kind of funny, on the GPS, that side just says lake, and this side says Ted Lake. One of those goofy things. Maybe I'll show you the map. You can see, pretty sure Ted Lake's on the map. Metal culvert here. You can see the water level is down. A few ducks out there on the water. Well, again, it kind of gives you a little idea of some of the challenges they had trying to build this railway line. Obviously the infilling they had to do to get across this lake. It's one of the fascinating things that I love about these old railway lines is the engineering, right? Especially the surveying, right? Like, maybe that's kind of a little bit of my geography background. So, you know, when they're plotting the line, right, they have to figure out where they're going, and they want to try to eliminate as many curves as they can. So, you know, I guess at some points you're going to have to cross some bodies of water, and so I guess it was just like easier to cross across this lake. So here you're going to get lots of pockets of this. You can see this, there's a telegraph pole down there. They dug ballast out of here, so you can see the sides of the cut are way back, and you can see all that moss that's kind of growing up. That's very indicative, another telegraph pole, that they dug material out of here. So again, a ready source of gravel and stuff. Maybe help them fill that causeway in over Ted Lake. Lots of jack pines. Again, jack pines like the sandy soil. So again, you can see how wide it is, especially on this side here, on the east side. Again, lots of little logging roads and things running off. Here's another one. So again, this railway line was abandoned 31 years ago. Telegraph pole. And so there was a lot of logging that happened while the line was running throughout its entire history, after the line was abandoned, and up to including today. So there's another pole. No, I've been trying to look. No poles with any signage on them. Oh, okay. Let's zip you ahead a little bit here. So just a little itty bitty rock cut here, just a tiny little bit of rock work. We got to be getting close to Reba. I think I kind of remember this. So the rock work kind of continues a little bit. The start of the siding, it's got to be coming up soon. What's that outlet? All right, so this is the start of the siding somewhere here at Reba. So the siding is going to be on the west side of the grade. You can see a little bit more rock work here. Yeah, you can start to see it starts to widen out here. So we'll talk a little bit more about the station here and what was going on once we get to where the station was. Kind of a beautiful area here. Way more upland. There's a telegraph pole. Yeah, you definitely can see something on this side here. And then the telegraph pole, you can see that the cloud's breaking up a little bit. Just kind of sun cloud. Telegraph pole right in there. You can definitely make out the siding now. Kind of, there's a little bit of material pushed up here, but the siding is definitely beside us. Okay, so let's pull up here for a second, and then we're gonna go over there and talk a little bit about the station here at Reba. All right, a little road going up that way. Again, lots of jack pines. So let's talk a little bit about Reba, and then I'll show you around. There's a few things to see. All right, here we go. So Reba was located at milepost 127.1 on the original line, milepost 98 on the Graham subdivision. Reba was an original station, so again, alphabetical naming pattern. So Reba being the R station, the station to the east is Quorn with a Q, and there is Soden to the west. So a Grand Trunk type E station was built here. One source, the book source, says 1911. The source that I have says the plan was done in 1913 and was approved in 1914. And so there's a big pit just to the north, which we're going to see very shortly. According to the records, the building here was sold in 1961, the station building. And the siding here was removed from use in 1990. It was converted into a 330-foot long spur connected at the east end, so that end. At both ends, known as spur GR55, and was in use from 1990 to 1992. And Reba remained a station on the line until 1994. So in terms of population, in 1911, there were 5 people here, as we already mentioned, 69 people at the Selwyn Mill. So quite a large group of people not that far away. In 1921 there were 8 people, and then in 1931 there were 9 people, including plus 7 people over at Selwyn. So what I'm going to do right now is I'll show you the maps, and then I will show you documents and timetables, and you'll be able to see a little bit more about Reba. And then we'll go and take a look around here. So I'm going to take you around the site here at Reba. I'm going to use my phone instead of the GoPro because this is a little bit better in the dim light, and it's very early in the morning. So when we were here, today's Sunday, when we were here on Friday, we recorded the video, but I guess it had rained a little bit the night before, and there was a drop of water that got on the lens of the camera, like smack dab in the middle, and it ruined the video. You couldn't see anything. Luna, come on. Luna, come. Luna, come on. Come on. All right, so the first thing we're going to take a look at over here is we have the water tank for the station. So you can see the concrete pad, and you can see somebody's put a metal lid on top of the hole here to protect it. And then if we work our way over here, you can see the bottom end of the telegraph pole, and then there's all kinds of debris scattered all over the place, but you can start to see depressions in the ground. And where it starts to get interesting is right here. So you can see what looks like a berm line here, and then you can see there's some metal, and you can see there's a big depression in the ground right here and here. And there's definitely some old wood here. And then you can see there's a big depression in the ground right there. And there's metal in here, right here. So usually these stations, you know, were kind of rectangular, perpendicular to the grade, and then they had a piece that bumped out at the back. And here I can see yet more metal, and I can see, looks like there's a rotten pile here, and definitely you can see this here, this depression line going here, right? So you can see this big depression in the ground, and then let me step on here. And then you can see this depression continuing on this way here. And I can see a big, what looks like old timber here. This could have been an old pile. So they used to have, on some of the stations, you can actually see the wood piles to support the station. Can't tell if that's a piece of, that looks like a piece of concrete right there. And then, so you can see sort of this depression line right in here, and it continues over here, right up underneath this tree. You can see there's a depression over there. So this probably was the site of the station right here. And then we have a whole bunch of debris over here. So if we go back this way, you can see that there's what appears to be pieces of sawn lumber. And there's more here. This looks like maybe a piece of a wall or something. You can see the telegraph pole. You can see a piece of a downspout. You can see more wood, more metal. And then over here, we have more wood. There's cans and stuff here. This might have been the midden. This might have been the garbage pit, or this may have been a cellar. You can see that looks like there's a depression into this hill. And there's more metal there. And there's more metal here. That looks like a piece of brick. And there's definitely something under here. That looks like a barrel hoop. So certainly a lot of remnants here at Reba. Again, you can see that big depression in the back here. And continuing on there. So again, this was likely the station site. You can see the metal in the ground there. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna hop back up on the grade, and you're gonna see the continuation of the journey. Obviously, we recorded the video the other day, but we'll continue on.